Bubba Wallace to the outside, finishes his first Daytona 500 in second place, side drafting off Denny Hamlin.
All over the globe, young drivers compete each week for a chance at fame and glory. Inspired by the legends of our sport, these up-and-coming racers scrape and claw to work their way through the ranks in the hopes of one day racing at the sport's highest levels. NASCAR Next is a program that identifies this emerging talent in our sport. NASCAR Next alumni have won races and competed for championships in all three of NASCAR's top national touring series, including 21 race wins and one championship in 2017 alone. As the program's most recent accolade, just over 1/4 of the 2018 Daytona 500 field were NASCAR Next drivers. Now in its 8th year, NASCAR Next highlights the best and brightest stars in racing and helps class members develop professional skills that hone their talent on and off the racetrack to grow their markability. Who will take the checkered flag? Who will hoist the trophy? Who will write their name in the history books? Who is next?
Hello, everyone, and welcome into NASCAR Studio 3. I'm your host, Jonathan Merryman, along with Kim Coon. Kim, a very exciting announcement today surrounding NASCAR Next.
Absolutely, and we're going to go in depth and get to know each of our Nexters, but first, let's meet the 9 drivers who make up this year's class.
I am next.
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 When you're NASCAR Next, you kind of get a better insight of what NASCAR is about and how they do things. It's definitely nerve-wracking. You feel like you have a lot of pressure on you, but that's healthy. I think every driver needs that and has to go through that.
It's kind of like verification that you are coming up in the ranks, because there's tons of kids coming up. It gives you this type of feeling where it's all my hard work's paying off. I am working towards this, and people see that I'm working towards this.
I mean, I just love everything about it. I love being in NASCAR Next. I love the relationships that I get to build, the camaraderie with other young drivers. I like the name, the brand that you get with being in NASCAR Next.
The coolest part about being a part of the NASCAR Next class would probably be, one, the name and all the people that have been through here. Hopefully to add my name to that list would be pretty special.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I've seen some of the drivers like Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson and William Byron that came through NASCAR Next, and to be considered in the same group as them is unbelievable. So it kind of gives me another added incentive to want to go out there and get some wins.
You never know when your last race is or what race could lead to more things or brighter things in the future. I'm really excited for that, and I can't wait to see where it takes me.
To see all the talent that's came through and all the good things that NASCAR Next helps you with. This is where you got to go and what you got to do. So I look forward to this, and I'd say it's more of an exciting feeling when it comes down to it.
I'm really excited to be in the program for the first year, and I just hope I continue to move up through the ranks. I'm really looking forward to see what it holds for me and what I can do for my future.
Having the opportunity to meet so many great individuals who are involved in the sport and have a great group of fellow racers that not only just trying to improve ourselves on the racetrack, but ourselves off to be the best that we can be and help increase our chances of working our way up to the top.
It's time to meet our first 2 Nexters. Please welcome Will Rogers and Tanner Thorson. Hi, guys.
How are you?
Will, I want to start with you. 2017 was a breakout year in K&N. I'm talking 9 top 5s and 14 starts in the West, and then 2 wins and 2 starts in the East. You've obviously proved yourself on track, but how can the NASCAR Next program elevate you and your career to the next level?
Yeah, like you said, 17 was amazing for me. I could have never really imagined it was going to go that way, especially with those 2 wins in the East. But yeah, being part of the Next program, I really expect for a lot of people, if they don't already know who I am, they're now going to know who I am. We had a lot of help last year from, some people in the Cup Series and higher levels in NASCAR, but this is only going to give us, a lot more power behind the punch.
Tanner, you're a former USAC midget champion. Kyle Larson obviously comes from the world of dirt racing. Do you pay closer attention to his career, maybe model what you want out of your career from him?
Absolutely. I came from the same team that he ran for in midgets, and Keith Coon's Motorsports. I learned a lot from them in the years. I ran for them for 5 years, and I learned a lot. Obviously I want my career to go the way his went. It's pretty incredible the way he's came from. I raced go-karts with him even back in the day in California. So hopefully my career can go that way, and I think this NASCAR Next will help do that.
Well, you mentioned you had some help from the Cup guys. Kevin Harvick has raved about you. What's it like to have a Cup champion say, you're the real deal?
It's pretty incredible. I mean, just to kind of sit back and think about it, we had that race at Sonoma, which a lot of people know about, and obviously that's more or less my claim to fame right now. But that alone, of course, racing against the Cup champion was incredible. Learning from the guy, being behind him, and understanding how he approaches a race. But yeah, having him come out of the car and rave about me, I would have never expected it, and it's kind of just made a lot of great things happen for me this year, and the momentum is really good. So hopefully we'll continue that.
Tanner, let's talk a little bit more about the transition from midgets to full-body asphalt stock cars. What are maybe some challenges and then some things you've picked up on well?
I think the biggest challenge for me is to kind of learn to, save tires and stuff. With the sprint car and midget, you're flat out 100% of the time. So I think that's probably the biggest thing for me, and definitely the heat aspect of it. I come from an open cockpit where, the heat doesn't get to you. And, I ran my first truck race at Dover a couple weeks ago, and I wouldn't say I was tired, but the heat definitely got to me. So I'd say that's probably one of the biggest things that definitely gets to me.
Well, thanks, guys, for joining us. A lot of potential sitting right next to me. Let's meet our next two NASCAR Nexters. Jonathan?
Yeah, Kim, we're here with Derrick Krauss, Anthony Alfredo. Derrick, let's start with you. Let's go back to Bakersfield earlier this year. You're out there running a race that Kevin Harvick's in. You end up winning that race. What's it like taking down a Cup champion?
Yeah, I mean, it was really fun to be in that race. BMR brought me a great race car, so that helps a lot. We unloaded right away in the beginning of the practice, and we had a really fast car, so carried that into the race, and we ended up in victory lane.
Anthony, 2 wins on the Cars Tour last year, both of those coming at Hickory. What's it like being able to win for a car owner like Dale Jr.?
It was really cool. I had always been a Dale Jr. fan growing up, so to race for his team was just surreal at the start and honestly all the way till the end. And obviously to win 2 races early in the year in the same night, those were a pair of twin 75-lap races. And we had a really strong run, and to have that early in the year and have success with a driver who I've always looked up to and a race team as respectful as Junior Motorsports was definitely something I'll always remember, and a big stepping stone in my career.
K&N Pro Series for you this year. Had a pretty eventful weekend. Tell us about Saturday night and getting the win up at South Boston.
Yeah, we had twin 100-lap races at South Boston Speedway, and unfortunately we got in a crash in the first race, and the car was beat up bad enough where we had to roll out a backup. And the second race, starting position actually started by fastest lap in the first race, and we would have started on the pole, but we went to a backup, so we got put to the rear, but drove all the way from dead last and passed for the lead on the last lap and came out on top. So it was a eventful night to say the least, but definitely a great one in the end.
Derrick, talk about being a part of this NASCAR Next Class. Obviously, you've got the talent taking down a guy like Kevin Harvick, but what's this going to do? What do you look to accomplish, being part of NASCAR Next?
Yeah, being a part of NASCAR Next it's a really great accomplishment. I mean, it helped other NASCAR drivers that's in the top 3 series like Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, and Darrell Walsh Jr. that got to be in the NASCAR Next program, and once they got into the top 3 Premier Series, they had a big fan base. So this is my opportunity to follow in their footsteps.
All right, real quick, Anthony, tell us about the nickname, how it came about, which is pretty obvious, and if you like it or not.
Yeah, a lot of people call me Fast Pasta, which I believe Trevor Townsend, who announced at Hickory Motor Speedway, came up with that originally. And I'm not sure I love it a whole lot, but if it's for doing good things, then I don't mind it. And it's pretty funny, so I'll go along with it.
All right, Kim, 2 guys with a bright future. Who do you have on tap?
Thanks, Jonathan. I've got Ryan Vargas and Chase Purdy joining me. Chase, your second year in the NASCAR Next program. What did you learn last year that might help you this year to make a little more out of what you've got?
I really just think kind of how to carry yourself and present yourself. NASCAR Next last year really did a good job of helping me learn just how to be more myself and be more, quote, authentic. That was a big word we used last year. And kind of just get more of myself out there to the world and the racing fans and family.
Awesome. Now, Ryan, you're actually part of the Drive for Diversity program as well as NASCAR Next. It's your first year in Drive for Diversity. How will the two help you elevate your career?
I believe it's going to help unbelievably because, frankly, I come from racing late models back at home at Irwindale and Kern, and so, we had to work really hard to get our car perform as well as it did, and, we spent a lot of time out of our own garage as well. So being in NASCAR Drive for Diversity and with NASCAR Next, it's all coming at once, and it's really unbelievable to be here.
Chase, let's talk K&N Pro Series. I got to look at these stats. 8 top 10s, 5 top 5s. That's awesome. But how do you take what you learned on the K&N side and translate that to ARCA?
Well, you know, those cars are very similar, and you get to race at some of the same tracks. Not a lot of them, but a few. So it'll be helpful when you go back to those tracks and you kind of transition what you learned in the Canyon side of things to the ARCA side of things. But no, we were really successful last year. There's a few times where I feel like I could have got a few wins, but I just made a few mental mistakes or something bad would happen, like blow a tire. But no, I just think that it's going to help me learn more about this year and what I can do to be better.
Let's talk about some of the drivers that have gone through a similar path than you. We're talking Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, Daniel Suarez. Looking at what they did being a part of NASCAR Next and the Drive for Diversity program, how do you kind of look at what they did and make sure you follow a similar path and just have the success that we've seen from them?
Well, one of the first things I saw when I first ever walked into the Rev Racing shop was all the banners on the wall of the past wins from Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, and Bubba, and all the other drivers. And knowing that they came through the same program of NASCAR Drive for Diversity and NASCAR Next, it kind of gives me the feel that I'm kind of held to that standard. Like, I got to be able to bring the results to the team just like they did. So it's definitely not really pressure, but it's more motivation to go out there and do the best I can.
Thank you guys so much. We're excited to see what the future holds for each of you. Jonathan Merryman is with our final 3 NASCAR Next drivers.
Yeah, we have Hayley Deegan, Zane Smith, and Riley Herbst here on stage. Hayley, let's get started with you. All of you guys are returning for your second year. What did you learn last year, and what do you hope to build upon this year in NASCAR Next?
Yeah, I think last year was just meeting all the new faces in the NASCAR world. I came from off-road racing, and it's totally different people there, and just there's a lot of new people to meet, new faces to get to know, and new sponsors to get to know. And it is all just kind of like breaking the ice. But this year is really the year I want to get noticed and show people what I got.
Zane, let's talk about your second year here as well. Obviously, started off this year with a bang with 2 wins in ARCA. So, what do you look to build on? And I mean, if you win 2 out of 4 or 2 out of 5 now, that's not a bad way to start the year.
Yeah, we're definitely to a really good start, to say the least. But yeah, for this year, pretty much what Hayley said. The first year is kind of like, you're a little nervous when you go into these meetings, but now it won't really be like that. And yeah, hopefully I can add some more wins to it. So when we are in those meetings in front of those big companies and everything, I could say that I have a few wins this year, and obviously that's going to help.
Pocono win last year for you. So I mean, what's the future hold for you this year, you think?
Man, hopefully more checkered flags. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of blast here with everybody in NASCAR Next, and I'm really looking forward to this year.
Hayley, I think a lot of people know you maybe from your dad. So motorsports has really been in your blood probably since you were born. So what's it like to kind of have the stage to yourself now and be out there kind of blazing your own trail?
It's really cool because in off-road racing, it was always my dad. I was always Brian Deegan's daughter. And it's kind of like a new world for me. It's for me to kind of go on my own and kind of make my own path.
Gotcha. And your teammates with Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, so that's not bad information to have when you strap into those race cars.
Yeah, being with Joe Gibbs Racing is a true honor. And I just look to learn from all of them and stuff like that, and hopefully follow in their footsteps. All
right, Zane, take me through that Talladega win. Obviously, kind of a crazy place to race and an even crazier place to win. So what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I pretty much went into that weekend just really wanting like a top 3, top 5 even. And you're pretty much good with that. So winning there is a huge bonus. And that day was pretty crazy. I was at the very front leading a thing to basically dead last. And then it was with one more restart to go. I lined up 3rd, and I got by my teammate. And coming to the line with Joe and my teammate behind me, and I'm pretty sure Michael Self behind Joe, it was the longest backstretch that I've ever seen in my life. And coming to the line, I didn't even know I won it basically until I was on the backstretch, and believe me, I was pretty pumped.
All right, 3 returners to the program. There's no telling what this trio will do this year. Kim?
We had a little fun with our NASCAR Next drivers. Let's see what they had to say.
Will Rogers from Maui, Hawaii. I really got my start in racing when I was 8 years old. I had 2 classmates in the 2nd grade who raced go-karts, and my mom found out about it, and a week later went down to the local go-kart track, and a year later won our first championship.
And Will Rogers picks up his very first NASCAR K&N Pro Series win.
When I was about 14 years old, I really decided that I wanted to take racing seriously and try to pursue it as a career.
that was kind of when the floodgates opened, saying that, okay, this is possible.
Will's been focused, trying to take all this in and really take advantage of his opportunity.
What excites me most about being part of the NASCAR Next program is just being part of this collective group. People like Ryan Blaney and Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, those before me, they've become so successful. And for me to follow in their footsteps, even in one way, like in NASCAR Next, it is huge for me in my career and what we've been building on. And I can't wait to see where it takes me. I'm Will Rogers, and I'm next.
Thorson, Minden, Nevada. There's this little local asphalt track by me, and I made my first few laps. After that, I knew, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Tanner Thorson making his first career start in the truck.
Talk about a thrill ride. This guy's used to some thrill rides with his open wheel background.
I think what excites me most is to see all the talent that's came through and the good things that NASCAR Next helps you with. I'm good buddies with Kyle Larson, and to see him come through this program gives me a lot of hope to try to step my game up and eventually be racing at the top level. That's been my goal from the time I was a little kid, first starting go-karts, to now, and that's going to be my goal from here on out. I am Tanner Thorson, and I am next.
Derrick Krauss from Stratford, Wisconsin. The first time I got into my first go-kart, I went all the racetracks and then I was ready to go wide open, so that was really fun for me and I learned a lot.
And the 19 quickly jumping out to the front. That's Derrick Krauss.
Been very strong. Derrick Krauss has just done a great job here tonight.
Here comes Derrick Krauss in the 19. He'll take the win and the Rookie of the Year title.
The NASCAR Next program is a huge stepping stone for me. It took drivers like Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez, and Ryan Blaney up to the top levels of NASCAR, and this is my opportunity to follow in their footsteps.
Whoa, look at that! Derrick Krauss to the lead.
He won the season finale here last year. He'll start 2018 off with a win as well.
Derrick Krauss back to victory lane in Bakersfield.
I am Derrick Krauss, and I am next.
My name is Anthony Alfredo, and I'm from Ridgefield, Connecticut. The first time behind the legend car, there was just so much fun and the adrenaline rush. There's nothing like it.
Anthony Alfredo he's the leader in the 40 car, the 19-year-old from Ridgefield, Connecticut.
I've always looked up to Dale Jr. growing up just because he's a great role model to young racers like myself, since he supports grassroots racing where most of us come from, and now that he's retired, he's still very involved, and I really appreciate that.
Anthony Alfredo, friends call him Fast Pasta, and he's ready to win tonight.
I work really hard. I'm a full-time college student, additional to a full-time race car driver, and what excites me the most about being a part of the NASCAR Next program is not only just trying to improve ourselves on the racetrack, but ourselves off, to be the best that we can be and help increase our chances of working our way up to the top. My name is Anthony Alfredo, and I am next.
Ryan Vargas, La Mirada, California. I really knew I wanted to be a race car driver when I really wasn't good at other sports. I played the same position in every sport, whether it be basketball or football, and that would be head bench. And I just loved racing, so when I got behind the wheel of a little Bandolero race car, that was what I wanted to do.
Ryan Vargas in the 2-3 wide, almost there, and they were all Rev Racing cars.
To be a NASCAR Next, it's unbelievable. I've seen some of the drivers like Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson and William Byron that came through NASCAR Next, and to be considered in the same group as them is unbelievable. It means that NASCAR sees me as capable of doing what those guys are doing. So that means that I just got to step up and work hard and try to get to that level. I am Ryan Vargas, and I am next.
Chase Purdy, Merryman, Mississippi. I kind of knew I wanted to be a race car driver when I got in the late models. I really wanted to do this as a lifestyle. It's going to be a job I want to have. Fortunately, it's worked out well for me.
Here comes the 17 of Purdy. 4 poles in a row for him, showing a ton of speed, and that's something you want to see out of a young man. You can't teach speed.
The NASCAR Next group is just filled with a bunch of drivers who they believe have the ability to get the job done on the racetrack, and it's definitely nerve-wracking. You feel like you have a lot of pressure on you, but that's healthy. I think every driver needs that.
This young man in the number 8 said to me, I love adrenaline.
18-year-old Chase Purdy from Meridian, Mississippi is the early leader.
To me, it motivates me to get there. It makes me want to work harder and push myself to my new limits. I am Chase Purdy, and I am next.
Hayley Deegan, Temecula, California. I remember getting behind the wheel the first time and me just being like, what is going on? Like, I was only 7 years old, so I'm still trying to figure out like my left from right. And I remember going like backwards on the track because I couldn't figure out for my left from right. But ever since then, I knew I loved doing it.
The 19 of Hayley Deegan, young driver looking for a spot in this series.
When I got the call to be in the NASCAR Next program again, I was just super excited. It's like a whole new world. It's totally different. It's like being able to be tied to the NASCAR name is huge because people ask like, what do you do? What do you race? And when you're able to say NASCAR, people are like, oh, that's sick. I am Hayley Deegan, and I am next.
Zane Smith, Huntington Beach, California. I started in racing when I was about 3 years old, running a BMX bike. All I remember was I had a ton of fun.
Zane Smith making it look easy here in the Music City. The California kid wins his first ARCA Racing Series race.
I really looked up to Jimmy Johnson. My favorite NASCAR moment of all time would be when Jimmy Johnson won his 7th championship. How can't you want to be like Jimmy Johnson? So yeah, there's my goal right there.
Photo finish! Zane Smith has won by inches at Talladega!
This year's going to be unreal.
I am Zane Smith, and I am next.
Riley Herbst, Las Vegas, Nevada. I got my start in racing when I was 5 years old. My dad put me in go-karts, and we were doing it just more of fun, just try to kill time and whatnot on the weekends, and I really started to love it. And from there on, I really just kept following it, and it was my passion from there on out.
That's Riley Herbst, the winner here at Pocono Raceway, his first win and only to date in the ARCA Racing Series.
Last year was my first year at NASCAR Next, and to be honest, it was a little overwhelming type of deal. And like this second year, I'm taking it more like it's my last year in this deal and soaking it up as much as I can. And it helps my career. I like the brand that you get with being in NASCAR Next. That he's a NASCAR Next alumni, and so the whole deal is really cool, and I'm super honored to be a part of it. I am Riley Herbst, and I am next.
9 different drivers from 9 different backgrounds. It's been great to meet our NASCAR Next Class for 2018. To learn more about them, you can go to NASCAR.com. We're excited to see what they do with their careers. For Jonathan Merryman, I'm Kim Coon.